Hey everyone, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please make sure you follow and leave a 5-star rating. Folks, be sure to watch and listen to the end. We have big updates from Goldman Sachs CEO and what he said about Bitcoin, plus Deutsche Bank is leveraging Ripple and the XRP ledger. Huge news updates, so make sure you watch and listen to the end. Let's get into it. Okay, folks, I want to start off with some Google trend data. So we are seeing the searches for Bitcoin going to zero are hitting a new all-time high, higher than 2022. This is a very bullish sign. The herd, the masses, thinks crypto is done, Bitcoin's going to zero, and they're searching about these things because they've seen the price collapse. Plus, they've seen different narratives and headlines being put out there. But we don't follow narratives and headlines. We look at the charts, the macro, the fundamentals, the on-chain data, and much more, right, folks? So we want to be educated. We don't want to be on the side of dumb money. In fact, what I've been mentioning to you guys, Bitcoin has been so oversold. There's so much extreme fear that now would be an opportune time to start dollar cost averaging into the market. Now, could the price go lower? Sure. But also history has shown us that in this bottom zone, right? Not the exact bottom because no one can call that, but the zone, just like there's a top zone where you want to start taking profits, there's a bottom zone where you want to accumulate. So the fact that this is happening is very bullish. And look, the price of Bitcoin right now is just chopping sideways. It's currently just below $67,000. We are waiting for that relief rally. Not guaranteed, of course, but we'll see if there's some sort of catalyst that drives the price up, maybe some announcements about Trump's tariffs and these different things, or it drops it lower, right? These are the potential scenarios. And so we're going to have to be patient and let the market do its thing. But I think the majority of the move to the downside is done. Even if Bitcoin goes and, tests 58K or lower, still the majority of the downside has been completed, based on the RSI and the extreme fear and much more. Okay, folks, we got some very big news from Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon. He was speaking at the World Liberty Financial Forum today, and he says that he owns Bitcoin and he's watching it closely. He says, "I'm an observer of Bitcoin." That's a direct quote. So he says he owns a small amount of Bitcoin, but is closely watching the cryptocurrency as part of a broader shift in financial technology. Solomon argued that traditional finance and crypto are part of a single evolving system, with tokenization poised to play a central role in future market infrastructure. He said Goldman's limited crypto involvement has been driven largely by what he called prohibitive regulation, warning that excessive rules can drain capital from the financial system, even as he urged a thoughtful approach. So, folks, many takeaways here. First, another major domino falling, right? Remember, Jamie Dimon was the big one. He started going around saying Bitcoin and crypto are great. The blockchain and stablecoins are real, right? So he's flipped this too, and Vanguard has capitulated. And here, David Solomon, who once criticized Bitcoin and crypto, now saying he owns some and the bank is ready to do more, but we need legislation. Now, notice he says that it's holding back capital. And it's what I've been telling you guys, that once this bill is passed, it's going to open up a lot of liquidity and capital to come into the market. So there's trillions sitting on the sideline ready to move forward. He also highlighted that tokenization is the future of markets and finance, right? So Larry Fink gave the signal a couple of years back saying tokenization is the future of finance. I've been telling you guys for years, the future economies, markets, and governments will all run on blockchain rails. So you're starting to see some of the biggest names coming out and saying, yeah, we have to get on board here. We need legislation and we believe in tokenization and much more. So all the institutional naysayers are gone. Right? The detractors are gone. It's just retail that's whining and complaining, right? And I understand the market, the previous bull market did not perform as well as expected. But again, this is where smart money, even though the price is down, they're building, they're accumulating, and they have the macro view. And I hope you do as well. Now, big news around Ledn. So Ledn sells $188 million worth of Bitcoin-backed bonds. So this is being reported by Bloomberg. So the deal comprises two bonds, including an investment grade portion that was priced at a spread of 335 basis points over the benchmark rate, Bloomberg said, citing anonymous sources. Ledn, which allows users to borrow against their Bitcoin rather than sell it, has originated billions of dollars in loans since its founding. In November, stablecoin giant Tether invested in Ledn, seemingly as demand for Bitcoin-backed credit accelerates across retail and institutional markets. The new bonds are secured by a pledge of 4,078.87 Bitcoin with a fair market value of approximately $356.9 million, according to the S&P Global. The rating agency gave the majority of the bonds the less than stellar rating of BBB-, according to a February 9th report. So folks, we are seeing more and more financial products being built around crypto assets. It obviously starts with Bitcoin, as it did with the ETFs and all these other financial products, and then they will eventually expand to altcoins. So this is very bullish, and I actually did not know Tether invested in this company. So we're also starting to see the major banks like JP Morgan and others use crypto as collateral. Many of you may recall that news from late last year. So this is a very positive sign and will boost the adoption of crypto assets. And I think you're going to see more and more borrow and lend products coming from banks around crypto once we get legislation. So this is where legislation is needed, right? These banks can't do a lot of these things because the regulatory clarity is not there. So this is why we need the Clarity Act passed, and we're going to talk a bit more about that. But first, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Trezor. Trezor makes beautiful hardware wallets that make it easy for you to safely store your crypto assets. I'm a user of Trezor devices. I use the Trezor Safe 5 and the Trezor Safe 7. Many of you know I've been preaching self-custody for years, right? I've been saying put the majority of your crypto assets on hardware wallets where you control the private keys and you can sleep at night. And Trezor, they were the pioneers of hardware wallets. They started this back in 2013, and their hardware wallet is open source. And folks, they support all the major crypto assets: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Cardano, Dogecoin, you name it, and even new tokens. And they use top of the level security. Their new device, the Trezor Safe 7, it is quantum ready. So lots of great features, and the device is easy to use. They also have the Trezor suite, which allows you to easily manage all your coins. And they also have a software suite called Trezor Suite, which helps you to manage all your coins. You can buy and sell within that suite. And they also have a hand-holding service where you can talk to a Trezor rep to set up your device. Don't worry, they don't ask you for your private keys. So great device. Again, I'm a user. And folks, you can use my code ThinkingCrypto, all one word, ThinkingCrypto, to get 5% off your purchase. So check it out. The links will be in the description. Okay, guys, Brian Armstrong was also at the World Liberty Financial Summit today, or event, and he was interviewed on CNBC, and he talked about market structure, saying that it is making great progress, and he believes it could pass in 2 to 3 months. So it seems like things are moving forward and we're making progress. So let's see, fingers crossed. That will be really great. Now, Coinbase today launched XRP, Doge, Cardano, and Litecoin borrow and lending on their platform. So you can borrow up to $100,000 in USDC against your tokens instantly without selling. So this is a really great option, and it's available in the United States except for in New York. Many of you know New York is very tough with the BIT license and all those things, but this is big. So if you want to, borrow against your crypto assets and sell instead of selling, you can avoid a major capital gains taxes. But of course, you got to do what's best for you financially, based on how much crypto you have, what's your long-term goal, and all these things, right? So just keep that in mind. And many of you may recall, I had interviewed one of the representatives from Coinbase when they launched this for Bitcoin, and now they were expanding it to altcoins. So again, it starts with Bitcoin, then they expand to altcoins, right, folks? And some more Coinbase updates. So Coinbase's Base transitions to its own architecture with eye on streamlining. So Base is the Ethereum layer 2 created by Coinbase, and it's been getting a lot of adoption. So Base, a decentralized Ethereum layer 2 scaling network, said Wednesday that it is transitioning from running on L2 blockchain protocol Optimism's tech stack to running its own unified software architecture. Launched in 2023 as an Optimism chain, Base is shifting its own tech stack to reduce dependencies on external service providers and shorten the time it takes to ship new upgrades, according to a statement from Base. The team said, consolidating into Base changes how Base packages and releases software for the network. We will ship the official distribution for each upgrade, a single Base binary for operating nodes on the network. Very, very interesting. I'm still waiting in anticipation to see when Coinbase is going to launch their token on Base. So that's going to be a big one. They might wait for the next bull market, I think. They didn't do it this past cycle, but I don't blame them. It was a very lackluster cycle for altcoins. But it could be very, very bullish. I definitely will invest in this. I miss BNB. I'm not going to miss Coinbase's token as one of the largest exchanges in the world. Now, folks, we have very big Ripple and XRP news. So Deutsche Bank is looking to modernize their payment system and much more, and they're going to use the Ripple ecosystem. So the bank wants to take the lead in the new blockchain initiative of the industry giant Swift with the help of Ripple infrastructures. Now, one of the German media outlets, Börse Online, published the details, and they highlighted a graphic here that shows XRP infrastructure. So I think it goes without saying there's definitely the high potential of the XRP ledger being utilized here, plus Ripple's RLUSD and XRP in different ways. So very bullish, guys. There's no longer the SEC lawsuit, so a lot of banks and institutions are now building on the XRP ledger. If you go to rwa.xyz, you'll see a lot of tokenization and building is happening on the XRP ledger. So this is very, very big news here. Now, I mentioned earlier that today World Liberty Financial had their event, and Eric Trump highlighted today at Mar-a-Lago, the most powerful leaders in crypto, DeFi, and CeFi have gathered for the inaugural World Liberty Financial Forum. We are uniting visionaries from crypto, Wall Street, tech, and beyond to shape the future of finance, free from outdated banks, centralized control, and cancel culture. Modern American innovation is taking over, and we couldn't be more proud to lead the charge. So big event. So you had folks from Coinbase and different industry players there. And in fact, Securitize was there, and World Liberty Financial is partnering with Securitize to bring institutional grade RWA offerings. So World Liberty Financial continues to expand. Now, obviously, this is very much connected to Donald Trump, and my hope is that it doesn't continue to put up roadblocks for us to not get the market structure bill through. We've talked about this ad nauseum, that there are Democrats and people who are watching all of this and ready to pounce and use it against the crypto industry, right? That Donald Trump is doing this in his business, he's enriching himself. And again, I'm not against his kids being part of this, just the optics look bad when we're trying to get crypto legislation through. So I believe in the free market. So if his kids want to do things like Eric Trump has American Bitcoin, but man, just wait till hold off on some of these things until we get the market structure bill passed, right? That is all I'm asking. I certainly was not a fan of the Donald Trump or Melania meme coins. Those are horrible things that no politician should have, but they're both down like 90 something percent. But, these businesses like World Liberty Financial and American Bitcoin, I think, are legit stuff. They're building legit things, and they have an actual business and roadmap and that type of thing. So again, I'm hoping these type of things do not block the Clarity Act from passing. Now, over the past couple of weeks, guys, I've been sharing a lot of information coming from LinkedIn, where Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab, and BlackRock and other major institutions on Wall Street are hiring for crypto like crazy. You go see the job openings, it is so bullish because they are looking to build out that division or section of their business. They're bringing in the talent, guys. So this is not a joke for them. This is not just going to play around with it. No, they're hiring, they're building. We've been reporting on all the things that have been pushing to production. Obviously, a lot is still being held back because we need clarity. But Morgan Stanley, man, here, Frank Chaparro, who I just interviewed, by the way, highlighted all the job openings. I mean, all the titles: digital asset operations, digital asset strategy, digital asset strategist, and some of the salaries are pretty good. Like the VP of digital asset strategist, $225,000 to $330,000 or $300,000 salary. So the competition is not bad. I even have a role here for crypto fraud specialist, crypto and digital assets advisory compliance. So, man, if you want to go work for some of these firms, guys, this is it. This is the opportunity. So, definitely check it out, folks. There's an opportunity to work in the industry, be an entrepreneur and build, but clearly TradFi, they're all in. They're trying to get the talent. Okay, moving ahead, Kraken acquires tokenization platform Magna ahead of potential IPO. So Kraken continues to expand and acquire companies, and there's a lot of talks of them looking to do an IPO. Will they do it this year? We shall see. The market conditions may stop them from doing that, because if you try to go, do an IPO now when the markets are down, liquidity's low right now, you're not going to have a lot of investors, right? So Payward, the parent company of cryptocurrency exchange Kraken, has acquired tokenization platform Magna, expanding the company's infrastructure. Kraken said Wednesday the acquisition would allow Magna to operate as a standalone platform powered by the crypto exchange. The company's announcement said Kraken would use the platform for on-chain and off-chain vesting, white label token claims, custody and escrow workflows, specialized staking functionality, and other functions. Joining Kraken gives us the resources to support existing and new clients with institutional-grade infrastructure, deeper liquidity, and global distribution, said Magna CEO Bruno Faviero. So very big acquisition here, and all these crypto exchanges are looking to do different things: prediction markets, tokenization, borrowing and lending. So it's pretty cool, and this is very bullish. More options for the consumers. More competition is good, right, folks? So, this acquisition will certainly help with their IPO valuation, right? So, that is something that they're looking to increase, of course. Now, ECB, the European Central Bank, targets 2027 digital euro pilot as provider selection begins in Q1 2026. Again, the future of markets, economies, and governments will all run on blockchain rails. So they're putting the fiat currencies on chain, whether it be in a CBDC format, a stablecoin format, but also tokenized bank deposits and much more. So you can see the testing, the trial and error, bringing the talent on board, building out the ecosystem. I hope you see where the puck is heading, folks. Now, here's another example. OpenAI launches a benchmarking system to help secure crypto tokens and smart contracts. In a way, this is not good because it takes away some of the dev jobs, that developers kind of do some of these things. So AI will be doing it. But look, you can't stop the technology, right? This is the future, and AI and crypto and blockchain are going to run or work very closely. Both technologies kind of dovetail together where AI enhances some of the blockchain attributes, can help things run smoother and faster, and blockchain can be used to police AI in different ways when you have different AI agents plus deepfake content. So don't be surprised as we see more of a merging of these two technologies. And one of the things I'm waiting for, and I think it could be a big narrative in the next bull market, is when AI deepfakes and content gets so sophisticated you can't differentiate if they're fake or real, and you need to have the blockchain data stamp and a source, right? And that's why I believe social networks and content platforms and so forth are going to have to put blockchain in, so that when a content piece is published, you can trace, did it come from a certain credible source? When was it published? Some other metadata that you can help verify video and image content and things like that. So I think that's coming, and that's going to be one of the huge narratives, because almost every website and platform is going to have to use it, because how are you going to stop, this sophisticated AI image rendering and video rendering where you can't differentiate if it's real or fake, right? So this is going to be a critical component piece for how we move forward with digital media and all these things. Okay, folks, we got big updates around this SUI ETF. So Canary lists spot SUI ETF with staking rewards. I think Grayscale also did the same thing. So this one was listed on the NASDAQ. So we are seeing more and more altcoin ETFs being built and listed on stock exchanges. Remember years ago, guys, those of you who've been following me for a long time, 2018, 2019, I was telling you all crypto will be trading on the stock exchanges. Here you go, man. And obviously, it's been over a year, because the Bitcoin ETFs went live on the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, and so forth. So just incredible stuff, guys. This is why I'm so bullish. The on-ramps are still being set up here while we're in a bear market, right? So patience is the key, my friends. You got to be patient and make sure that you have the macro view and look at buying the blood on the streets, buying the dips, waiting for the euphoric blow up tops. I know the past bull market, we did not have a true altcoin season, and there were a lot of factors, as a result. But I think once we have legislation and all these on ramps are being built, not just here in the United States, but across the globe, you're going to see, I think, what they call the super cycle. I think that is coming, and legislation is going to open it up. As we started with the podcast highlighting what David Solomon, CEO of Goldman Sachs, said, that the capital is sitting on the sideline. They're waiting for legislation and the rules, right? They want to do more, but you got to get the rules in place. So folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't as yet. Folks, be sure to support the podcast by subscribing to my free email newsletter on Substack. It's 100% free. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital, and my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know about blockchain, crypto, and much more. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.